Challenging moments are important for us because we are here to grow. We are here to expand. We are here to awaken. And so those are moments of not challenges, but I actually call them my opportunities. It's hard at the time when that first pain, that first suffering comes to you. You will get closer to your truth of why you're here. This is our great work. This is the gift that God has given us in this lifetime, is to know who we are and why we're here. And so every opportunity will lead you closer and closer to that.
Hello, welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and it's my intention for this to be a space where extraordinary women from around the globe can step forward to share their wisdom, their courage, their dedication to uplifting the well-being of women everywhere, the feminine everywhere. I believe we're living in a time of really profound emergence where women's voices and their visions and their leadership are rising in powerful ways. So I'm grateful, honored, in fact, to be a conduit, introducing you to these remarkable change makers and their stories of transformation, resilience, impact. So you can find Women Awakening on every podcast platform and on video on YouTube. You just look for Women Awakening with Cynthia James. And please share these conversations, subscribe, leave your reviews. Your reviews make a difference in helping us reach more women around the world. And you can connect with me personally by going to my website, cynthiajames.net. I have a newsletter and a private community and lots of resources for you. So now I want to introduce you to my guest today. Her name is Elaine Glass. She's a personal coach, an author, and a speaker. She draws on over 15 years of transformative expertise. And then after a difficult divorce, she navigated a decade of self-discovery through travels, alternative healing, and spiritual exploration. Today, Elaine guides her clients and readers to go after their dreams for lasting joy and well-being. And her coaching practice centers on being open to change, quieting the mind, and unlocking hidden gifts in a judgment-free space. In her upcoming book, Get Quiet, inspired by classical labyrinth, ooh, I love labyrinths, Elaine shares transformative insights from her journey and client experiences. So, Elaine, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Cynthia. It's a thrill to be with you here today.
I want to start by talking a little bit about where you came from, how you grew up. You may have known as a child that you were going to be guiding people, and you may have not. So how did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
Yes, I grew up in Northern California in the 70s. So it was a beautiful environment. It was all nature, redwood forests. I have a history of ancestors before me who grew their own food, who my mom would take me to the health food store. And it was just a very healthy environment. And I feel so blessed to have been raised with that foundation. And it was the ocean, it was the trees, it was everything we know that today that we have gotten away from. And in fact, there was a moment in my life where I got away from that too. I got married, I had children, life got busy. And all of a sudden, my connection to nature, to holistic things that would create health in my body, in my environment, they diminished.
Mm. Mm.
And I found myself in a place where I felt stuck, I felt lost, and I didn't know why. And so I had to find my way back. And that's what I help women do, is find their way back to a more natural, healthy existence.
Okay, well, first of all, bravo, we need you. And second of all, I just want to talk, because in your bio, it said, after a difficult divorce. And I would like to talk about that because I had a painful divorce that changed everything for me, my whole perspective and trajectory. And for you, What was it that, I mean, the divorce clearly, but what came up for you about how you wanted to proceed with your life?
I realized that I had looked away at the truth of my life. I realized that I had swept so much under the carpet, and I was so afraid to peek under it to see what was there. And I do believe that one of the greatest personality addictions is looking away, the addiction of looking away at the truth of our lives. And so what came up was, okay, how am I going to lift up that carpet and deal with my stuff and be the healthiest mother? Because that was my full purpose at the time, be the healthiest mother to these two innocent young boys at the time, 6 and 8, that I could possibly be. They didn't deserve this. They didn't ask for a broken home. So I had to get myself back and I had to look in the mirror and do the work.
Yeah. Yeah, it was similar for me. It was like, I've got to take care of my children and I can't be a hot mess on the floor while, instead of taking care of them. So, what do you think is the true self?
Well, I don't think that anyone has the monopoly on truth.
Right.
So there's my personal truth, which I believe that I'm a soul, an eternal soul,
Mhm.
and that's made of pure love. And the times that I've been in trouble, the times that I've suffered, it's because I've been disconnected to the truth of who I am, which is pure love.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, agree. Check, check, check. I want to know about a book called Get Quiet. Why? Why should we get quiet?
The book is actually out now, and I'm just thrilled about it. The reason that title even came up for me was I had sat with over 40,000 patients one on one in my previous career in dentistry. So, can you imagine my hands hovering over 40,000 souls? And what I learned after that career ended is a coach of mine said, Elaine, what did you learn? What is the takeaway out of all those years and all of those patients coming to you? You knew their health history, you knew their family dynamics. What was the takeaway? And I said to her, I just want people to get quiet.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know what that meant at the time. That was over 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So I went on a journey to find out what did that really mean if I really, really thought about it. And so the book is the path that I took. And the metaphor, you're right, is about walking a labyrinth,
Yeah.
which, as you know, is a 4,000-year-old ancient meditative tool. It's a formation in the ground. And it's really walking the paths from the outside world to the inner world, to your inner world. And so many times in today's world, the outer world gets so much attention. We're distracted, we're focused on other things outside of us, but it's that inner world that we need to connect to. And so that is what the Get Quiet way is about, is how do we actually connect to ourselves?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, that's a big thing because we're living in a world of distraction and stuff is coming at us faster than I think it's ever come. And so to be able to pause and move away from striving and struggling and to get still and connect to yourself, that takes a commitment.
There's an intelligence in the quiet.
Mhm.
And when you say the word commitment, it is a commitment. And why not commit to this one thing? Because when you're committing to this one thing, you're committing to having and committing to the best life that you could possibly have. So in the quiet, there's an intelligence that we are completely missing. And that intelligence is what can guide our life to knowing our greater purpose, to knowing our greatest meaning, to having confidence when we didn't have confidence before. It's all in the quiet. And this is what I map out in the book.
Mhm. That's beautiful. So I've taken people to Charlotte to walk the labyrinth there.
Oh,
And it is exactly what you say. It's walking from the outside to the inner world, to the connection. So you're a coach and you're working with people. And I know people come to you unclear about how to get quiet. So are there techniques or what do you do with them first to help them even get clear about what they need?
well, that's a beautiful question because we're all going to wake up one day and say, oh my gosh, how did I get here? And how do I change paths? And how do I change? Such a scary word.
Mm.
But the very first thing we do, I live in beautiful Arizona, and the desert has a quietness about it. Unlike where there might be an ocean, which is loud, or the desert is so peaceful. And I've lived here for over 30 years. So I take them to my favorite labyrinth. And the very first thing that they do is they just walk the labyrinth with no expectation. I don't even really tell them what a labyrinth is. But the minute you even go into these circular paths, something happens. Something miraculous happens. And you actually can connect to what I call, and I tell them, is their soul's voice.
Mhm.
It's that still small voice within each of us that is being drowned out today. And for women, you can even say that's our intuition. That's what makes us feel alive. That's what helps us make important decisions in our lives, not only for ourselves, but our children, in the workplace. And so when these women get to this labyrinth, every one of them, 100%, just like it happened to me and probably with you as well, you hear that voice.
It was, yeah.
That's where we start.
Well, that's beautiful. There's something beautiful about labyrinths and the energy. I mean, it really helps you exhale so that you can become totally present to what you're feeling or experiencing. So I want to just go back a little bit and talk about the soul's quest, its mission, because I'm sure people are coming to you to connect to that on some level. And what's your experience with women, who feel like they can't connect to it?
I have guided people, countless people in this process. 100% of the time, there's a connection. Even if you feel like your life is so chaotic, even if you feel like your life is so loud, even if you feel like there's no way I could have that sort of maybe woo woo connection. I mean, those are the attitudes that come to me initially at times, but life is crashing down around them, that they're desperate. And it's almost in that desperation where that voice can be heard.
Yeah.
And every one of them and every one of your listeners has that still small voice available. But we have to cultivate the environment in which to hear it. And that is what the Get Quiet way in my book, Get Quiet, does. It helps you clean and clear out the noise in your life so that you can be listening and being guided to this still small voice and have that guide your life because that's the voice that knows your purpose.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad you said that. And I think this thing about clearing out clutter in your lives, I think it's internal and external because a lot of the times when you're feeling disconnected, it's because your outer and inner environment are disconnected and cluttered. And we talked a little bit about your transformation, but I guess I want to say, what do you feel is the importance of transformative, maybe challenging moments? When we go through stuff, we go through these challenging moments. Why are they important for us?
Challenging moments are important for us because we are here to grow. We are here to expand. We are here to awaken. And so those are moments of not challenges, but I actually call them my opportunities.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's hard at the time. It's hard at the time when that first pain, that first suffering comes to you. How can you ever think it could be an opportunity? But every opportunity that I've had to grow, that I've had to expand, gets me closer to Elaine. You will get closer to your truth of why you're here. This is our great work. This is the gift that God has given us in this lifetime, is to know who we are and why we're here. And so every opportunity will lead you closer and closer to that.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Well, and especially, you know, if you're a mother and an entrepreneur and trying to stay grounded in this world, you know, changing the perspective from challenge to opportunity creates another perspective. And so for you, because your children were young when you went through all of this and you were on your own path, tell me what you can tell women who are in the middle of a transition, how to find that harmony in personal and professional grounding.
These are the paths in the book that I'll quickly go through because this is how I got myself back to getting some sort of control back in my life. And I think that's what we're really desiring when we have a challenge, is that how can we gain control back into our life? And the very first way to do that is to get your body strong and to nurture your body and to make sure your body is healthy. That was the very first thing that I did because I had an autoimmune disease. I was tired. I had gained weight. I had brain fog. And so I knew I had to get my life back in control by getting my body back to health. The second thing I did was I got my environment back on track. I cleaned out my closet. I cleaned out the clutter. I had a storage unit that I was paying for, and I didn't even know where the key was. I found it. I paid the bill. I cleaned it out. And and so on. And this is what I mean by cleaning and clearing out your life to get your life back into some sort of control so that you are in the right mind to make the important decisions that you need to right now, especially like for me, I was a single parent. And so, that was a lot of responsibility. So it was just, it's every step of the way of getting my mind was another path, getting my mind straight, mastering my emotions was another path that I took. Grounding myself into all this new information, which then led to me allowing my dreams to finally come to life. Before I had made sure that everybody else's dreams were coming true, but had totally forgotten about mine. So these were the paths that I took to make sure that I found myself again and to make sure that I would never, ever lose myself again. This is the awakening.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I love your steps. How do people find you and your work?
They can find me at elaineglass.com. Everything is there.
Okay. Okay, everybody. And for those of you who are listening, let me spell it for you. ELAINEGLASS.com, just in case you missed it. So I asked the same last question of my guest. This show is called Women Awakening. What do you think is the most important thing about women awakening in this moment on the planet?
The most important thing for your awakening is to know that this is your birthright.
Mhm.
This will be your new superpower. This is what's going to lead you confidently forward so that you step in any room with confidence, with purpose, with love exuding from every cell in your body. This is what your awakening will give you.
Well, that was beautiful. A divine inheritance. You come here with it installed. Thank you so much, Elaine, for being here. I love your spirit and I love your commitment to your work, and grateful that you could be here and join us.
Grateful to you too, Cynthia. Thank you.
Okay, ladies, I sort of end the show the same way with different words. This is a moment in time where you get to claim yourself. You get to claim your voice and your gifts and your power. I'm grateful that you've joined Women Awakening, because what I hope is that these stories, these women touch you, encourage you, and remind you of the incredible power that lives within you. Because these stories and these interviews are an invitation to awaken your own voice and your own vision and your own unique gifts in the world. Please remember to subscribe and share these episodes with women in your life and leave a review. It really helps us touch women around the world. And don't forget, you can watch full video episodes on YouTube by searching for Women Awakening with Cynthia James. So thank you for being here. And until the next time, may you continue to rise and shine and awaken to the fullness of who you are. I'm very grateful for you and I love you. Many blessings.